I don't know, a
pretty
couple hours of.
baffling as far as what they were talking about. Like on SIG, they were saying that there should be like multiple spawn points within system for enough to keep many of the explorers that were in the system like saturated with things to do. I,
Right.
I hope that it's not all mission based. Like I think it's cool like if they have a lot of those spawn points geared towards like missions and like I get that. Like you go talk to your NPC, he says, "Hey, we need you to like explore around this moon or find this moon or find this asteroid belt,
Yeah.
whatever it may be." But I also hope there's like natural human kind of exploration where like you're floating around, you find a point that's not related to a mission at all, and you can actually use that information for your organization or to sell it like in a herald with a like for instance like you find like an ore field that's got like some pretty sweet ore in it, and then you can take that information and you can actually sell it to like a human market rather than just like grind it through a mission. I mean, like, wouldn't you kind of like that too, or are you against that?
No, I think it's great. Honestly, I mean, for exploration to go out and find a planet that
Yeah,
you
that's
can
cool.
use to harness.
Right.
So yeah.
Like I hope that there's enough of that. I think there will be. I think since there's about 67% or 70% of the people that play Star Citizen say they want to be explorers, I would think I would think it's actually a pretty smart thing if SIG put a lot of those spawn points within each system and that they all kind of were random kind of spawn points that generated. They did say that they would have like time and duration. Like the exploration video I did that you guys are watching now on stream, I will put a link to that on the YouTube video in the future. But if you go to that video, a lot of the information is still correct. And I talk about in that particular video like different size of jump points, wormhole navigation, the whole thing. I'm not quite sure if the wormhole navigation is still spec'd into design. I think they were kind of arguing about that back and forth within SIG, like to fly through the wormhole, especially with larger ships. But they will have 3 different designated sizes of jump holes, or I'm sorry, wormholes that you can find. So they'll be like small, medium, and large, and your ship, based upon its size, will be able to go through or not go through those points. I would imagine that larger wormholes are going to be much more rare to find. As if you think about it tactically speaking, you're not going to want to have the whole verse populated with like larger wormholes because then you're going to be able to, secret ones, not actually on the arc map, which is kind of cool. Maybe you can use those for time and duration, tactically speaking, to get like behind enemy lines or get on their flank and maybe squeeze like another human organization out, or if you're a role playing type of organization, then go against like some AI or NPC that nature. As far as the exploration in general, like how many of the 3 that are here, and I'll ask in order. So how many are interested in the exploration aspect to Star Citizen? I'll ask Fetz first. Are you interested in exploration?
Otherwise, I wouldn't have waited until 5 a.m. to sort of participate. Uh, yeah, of course. I mean, one thing that I wanted to add is, or where I wanted to ask you also, like on opinions, is for player requests, what kind of informations would players really ask for?
Mm-hmm.
And one thought that I had on using just places in places of interest, or finding nice spots somewhere in the universe for races, for example, like location scouts for maybe also holiday tours. I don't know, they have these ships for that as well. So just a location scout who would sort of stake out a route for a rally or whatever on a planet, or in a
Right.
asteroid field or something like that, could also be uh, something to do, something that looks picturesque, and the news ships have also something to film.
So we're talking about explorers in the verse. There's going to be a lot of different
There's
types
gonna be
of
a lot.
explorers, like scouts. There's going to be explorers for exploration's sake. There's going to be explorers on planets. They're going to explore planets, and there's also like explorers you can use like various different types of ships. That can actually have like a dual role that can do exploration and also do scouting as well. In fact, most of them can. So in that regards, I think it's actually pretty important to have like, even no matter what your organization is, or what profession you decide. I think exploration is going to be one of those that's going to pay a lot of money because it deals in information, like the video that I done today talking about information. So I think that whether you're like doing freelance work and selling to like organizations, you're going to make a lot of money. But also if you're in an organization and you do exploration, you also be like a valuable pilot to them, because you're able to do things maybe that other people aren't, since Star Citizen has that type of gameplay where like you are your skill set. Like you're not skilling in the game. You don't have a number over your head. You're actually learning as you play the game, and you are an explorer based upon your own experience within the game, making you whatever level of performance that you are on your own acumen, like your own, knowledge, which I think is probably what sets Star Citizen apart from other games. So pretty cool what you're talking about there, Fetz. I like that. What do you think, Riffs? As far as are you interested in exploration as a style gameplay within Star Citizen?
For me, that's one of the bigger draws, I think, and I'm definitely interested, for that reason. And there's a number of reasons for that. There's kind of when everybody gets dropped in and first sees the world, you're going to have that first bit of exploration where you're just trying to get your bearings and figure out where the major things are, like we mentioned before, planets. But as things go further, there should still be other things to explore, such as, wrecks and mineral deposits and those kinds of things that should still keep people coming back for more. I spent quite a bit of time doing surveying stuff in galaxies, and that was actually quite fun for a while.
Let's also not forget about like this, the science aspect of it all. I mean, a crew of 8 explorers on an exploration ship or so, there's different roles to have. So what kind of different science aspects would there be to it? Can you analyze an atmosphere? Can you have meteorology going on, or stuff like that? I mean, we were last time discussing about missions on planet surfaces where it might be necessary to sort of drop you off because the atmosphere would be corrosive to the ship. So you can't leave the ship on the ground, so you have to be dropped off, and maybe there are 2 or 3 teams in different spots on the planet, and the ship would sort of supervise them. Now I can hear myself as well. I'm coming through you.
It's okay, Fats.
Yeah. Just know what I mean is what roles can scientists do there, or medical research, microbial research. Are there diseases, for example? Somebody brought up diseases, and how would you explore a cure to them? Stuff.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. You're going to have like a lot of different types of fields within exploration that will kind of branch off exploration, like science, what Fetz is saying. And we were talking about that in our Discord server. Guys, you should join that. Please do. Our community is growing. It's nice to have these talks with you guys, by the way. Thanks for being here, everybody. I forgot I had to even mention that at the beginning of this, and especially for Fetz, because he's been waiting all day to get in and talk. And I apologize it's taking this long, my friend. So science, as Fetz was saying, is kind of interesting. You're watching the video right now, and you're actually watching the woman analyzing the system, the planets that probably are not discovered. I don't know how much that Sig can actually kind of promise this to everybody. It seems like it's such a big kind of thing to put a lasso around. It's very hard to handle to think that like there's going to be this much diverse gameplay within that they're going to be able to offer this and make it immersive. I'm not quite sure just how far they're going to get into it. I mean, I think it's cool that you can find planets. I mean, they have said that you're going to be able to find them. Once you get down on the planets, that's a whole nother level of exploration that will bring about, like Fetz says, like new avenues or evolutions of exploration, which is like, again, into science, getting into industry, farming, colonization. I mean, colonization is pretty big. How they're going to get into that, not yet, don't know. I'm actually going to do that for a video. It's going to be a colonization video. I think that should be an interesting one in the future. I've got it in the notes. We've got a lot on the board, actually, but I digress. I think again, and you're looking in the video here, there's alien life forms. We got to talk about inserting kind of like an AI, local fauna and animals and life forms, and I mean, there's so much to do. This is one of the reasons why I continue to state that I think that the end goal is going to be farther out than a lot of people think, and I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. I don't care how long it takes. I want this to be the game we all want it to be, and I'm not one of those guys that like am pushed about like, oh, it's not out yet. Oh, it's not out yet. I don't even care that they're not at 2.6 yet, and you see a lot of people crying about that. I don't care. I want this game to be like as perfect as Chris can envision it, because I really think that this could be one of those types of games that I probably will just quit every other game for forever if it if it can be like that type of game, especially like VR and exploration. Looking at a new planet in a VR thing from your ship would be like fantastic, or like walking on a planet with a VR. I was watching the most recent Around the Verse where they were talking about the 64-bit system that they had in place as far as your viewpoint when you're going from like a planet down to space, and it was not the one today, but the one earlier, and it was really interesting what they were talking about, how they process the information. And I like the techie nerdy stuff. But anyhow, let's get back to the original question. I'll ask Wiz here. Are you into the exploration, Wiz? Do you like the exploration aspect to this?
Yeah. One of the things that I've, come to love in just being here on this earth is space itself. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Star Trek, Star Wars, and I'm always into science and what is NASA doing with space and bending space and time. And so one of the things that I would love to do is be able to live this. And if it's in a game
Right.
itself,
Right, dude.
you know, I have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel you there, dude. I feel like I was born way too early. Like all this stuff that I see in the video game, I'm like, why in the hell is that not happening right now in like real life? Because I'd be the first to get on like a constellation and hop on board.
you'd be like, yeah, see you guys later. I'm out.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the things too, as far as exploration, one of the things that, because I've played Elite Dangerous, and one of the things that I enjoyed about Elite Dangerous was that you can walk, you can explore, and you don't know what you're going to find. Um, and you might come up across a white dwarf or a
Right.
black hole,
Yeah, I like that too.
maybe a quasar,
Right.
and whatever information that you can sell back, because I know that there's supposed to be ships that should be able to harness energy from from certain stars and stuff like that. So, I think this is. I hope that they allow diversity for these, just to find different planets and things like that. And I'm pretty sure they will, because I mean, Chris Roberts, he has an imagination, man, that is just
It's crazy,
beyond.
dude. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, from the very first, like when he introduced Wing Commander, and he had like cats flying against me, and I was shooting down large cats and spaceships. I was like, this is pretty wicked, man. Like I don't know what's going on here, but I just shot down some wicked looking cat in his spaceship, man. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he's got some great ideas. I have a lot of faith in him. I'm not worried. Like I said, I'm not worried about the time schedules. But yeah, I really think that if they do this correctly, like when they just showed at CitizenCon the footage that you're seeing now on the stream, and I got to see them getting the rover, and I saw them going around on the planet, I really said to myself, here comes the survival aspect. Like here comes whether or not I think they are going to have food and drink and somehow like involve that, whether it be buffs or involve that in type of gameplay to make it immersive or not. Whether they do that or not, I still think the experience down on the planet side, as far as visuals are concerned, will be fantastic. Just right now, what I was looking at that you're seeing on the screen, I was like really impressed. They still have to make a lot of the movements more fluid with the characters. They still have to work on the jittery movements with the ships on landings and takeoffs. They got to they got to work on the jittery stuff with the rover. So there's a lot of work that I think that they need to do that I don't have any doubt that they will fix. I mean, that if they're doing what I'm seeing now, then that's just like minor compared to all the other stuff. It's really right now, especially with exploration, deals with game design as far as bringing assets into the game. That is going to be like the hardest thing for them to do. There's going to be so many different types of assets they have to put in there. The environment assets, like all the different types of terrain and stuff, not just general stuff, but also very specific stuff that we can find within or on the planet. How in depth they're going to get into that, again, this is all speculation, but I really would like this to be that type of game where like you can build on the planet, that you could actually create your own civilization on the planet. That isn't really spec'd in the cards right now, as what they've got in store for us are like locations that are designed on the planet. We land on them or we land next to them. And now what we're starting to see is we're starting to see like missions being taken away from like the main hubs that are designed and kind of like spawned through NPCs. And I think that's cool because now that they're bringing that out, it's kind of like spider webbing out, and you can kind of see like this kind of like this web evolving over the planet where it's not just going to be static, and I like that. I don't like static gameplay and exploration. If it's any static anything within exploration, when you're playing the game, people are going to leave it. It cannot be static. Elite Dangerous, like you were saying, was one of those games I played. I loved it. Like just the vibe I got from it flying in space, the cabin, the way the flight controls are in Elite Dangerous, the sounds in Elite Dangerous, they just all inspire me, and like I just will play for hours and hours. But what didn't get me, one of the things that drove me away was very hard to find people in the game because of the amount of systems in it. And I think that the 100 systems where people were bitching about, oh, there's only 100 systems, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's such a bad thing if I compare the 100 system model with like the million system model of like Elite Dangerous, like it makes more sense to me because it's taking like a whole bunch of people and it's kind of condensing them so that we have to fly around one another, so that there has to be like confrontation and there has to be like some element of surprise, or especially if you're an explorer and you're flying around. This is another thing, and you've got a really nice expensive ship, like one of the bigger carracks that Dames was talking about in Twitch chat. You're not going to want that to blow up. You're not going to want to blow up in it. And so when you're flying around in it, you're going to want to find ways to kind of keep away from people. And there's going to be plenty of them around there. And you might have people that are going to, cry and be like, oh, I can't stand that everybody's trying to grief me or troll me. But like space is supposed to be dangerous. And that in Elite Dangerous was what I thought was missing, and why I made my Bringing the Dangerous series, is because like I didn't find any danger in Elite Dangerous. When I played Elite Dangerous, I just felt like it was elite. And the style of gameplay that was is very PvE oriented, where I was at the station, I got a commodity, it was produced by AI, I took it to another station from station X to station Y. I got my credits for it, and that was it. I didn't feel like I helped anybody. I didn't feel like it meant anything. Nobody created it. Like, you know what I mean? It was very just like A to B,
Right.
and it bored the hell out of me. Yeah, right. And so like I actually developed like a different style of gameplay from it, and I started the first time I've ever played as a pirate in a game, and I was forced to, and I said, okay, well, like I'm going to do this. And, I had a really fun time doing it. And I said to myself, well, this is just like a new style gameplay brought about the fact that there wasn't the dangerous in the game. So I'll be the dangerous. And I think that gameplay actually inspires, especially when talking about exploration, a sense of excitement, because you don't know what's going to happen next. And as an explorer, you really don't know what's going to happen next. You can fly around from system to system. And if everybody's more tight knit, within all these systems flying around, you're going to find like so much action happening that normally wouldn't happen in an Elite Dangerous type of model or an Elite Dangerous type of setup. What do you think about that, Wiz? That's a lot. There's a lot of verbal diarrhea right there. But what do you think about all that?
No, thanks. I appreciate that. Well, I think too, like you were just saying, coming into a system and just accidentally jumping into a battle.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's the best.
I think it's like, and everybody's looking at you like, who is this guy?
Right. Like, right.
What do I have to do to get out of here? I think that is awesome because, like you said, you don't know when you have these planets that are so much more closer together, and it brings other people together. I think it just makes the whole Star Citizen community that much tighter, to where you jump into these battles, or you go to a station and you actually see people there. There's just not just NPCs. You actually get to see people who are involved in missions, and maybe you may meet friends, or you may meet other people that otherwise you would have not met. And so I think that's I think they're doing right by making it a little bit more closer together.
That's what makes it immersive, because you're dealing with another person,
Right.
Like I think it's immersive in the fictional sense where like say you're just chilling out, and you want like an hour or two, and you don't have the time to like play with other actual real people, and you want to run some missions, and maybe it'll affect standing and do something, and that can be immersive gameplay, but it's also very immersive, just like you're saying. You like run into somebody that you wouldn't normally run into, and who knows what you. I mean, it could be dangerous, it could be profitable, it could be like the best thing of your life. You could like make the like a great friend, or an enemy. Yeah, that's what I love about this game. So, what do you think? What do you think, Fets, as far as being an explorer? Are you going to be a type of explorer that's going to be like more to yourself and do kind of like um, exploration's sake? That's not really profitable. Just you want to explore. Like, how is the exploring? I guess what I'm trying to say is like, what type of an explorer are you going to be?
I think I have several versions there. There's certainly one that is non-profitable because it's more like a hobby kind of thing. Which I would like to do is sort of find species and document life in the universe kind of stuff.
Very Star
So
Trek. Cool.
yeah, this is also the kind of the Star Trek thing, and I don't know. I was thinking about how this um, could be also made a little bit more interactive so that people can see who has found whatever the first one to find whatever kind of species. Is there a way to sort of have photo albums also? I mean, if they're also talking about streaming movies and stuff like that, then maybe I can also have pictures and stuff like that shared and descriptions of whatever. That's one part. I was always wondering. I read about a trash world. I was always wondering what that would look like, and then I thought about, all right, if this is a trash world where like hundreds of years of trash accumulate, then dig 20 meters and suddenly you are in archaeology. So
Look at
do a
old
bit of
Twix
archaeology.
wrapper.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, archaeology that can be cool, and
Right.
that brings me also to this artifact kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, archaeology. I guess we won't have the type of archaeology where you're sitting there with a little brush and cleaning stones or whatever. It will be more the Indiana Jones type of archaeology,
Yeah.
looking into tombs and ruins
Right.
and stuff like that, old civilizations, and there you will, I don't know, encounter traps, riddles. I would hope actually for more like that, traps and riddles, and
I would
not so
like that.
much of monster action or bandits all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
find exploration, the aspect of there's danger, physical danger, should always be on your neck. Yeah, but it shouldn't be the prime thing that happens to you while you go exploring.
Like the
Right.
giant
So
squid.
it's more like be prepared. Maybe take a team, have a medic with you as well,
Right.
or maybe somebody to protect you. Somebody who can help you along on the way when you are just a
Are you
scientist
going
who
to be like
doesn't
a
know.
solo explorer? Or are you actually going to have like other people explore with you?
Currently, I have the 315, so I'm alone. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I would say I would also like to be part of a fleet in some way.
Yes.
And I mean, there's also then potentially combat-related exploration where you are on the scouting mission or so on, which also brings me to the question of spies and hacking and maybe stealing information and data. Wonder how that works. If the Herald maybe has stuff like that,
Your
because I
mind's
don't know
great,
what
Fitz.
it's
I love
called.
it. It just goes like from
Yeah,
one like aspect to the other. It's just great. It's great. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
well,
like we'll talk about. I think that is going to be a whole another episode. In fact, I'll write that down right now because that should be its own episode. Like espionage, like agents, stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of that in the game. Like, but I'll skip that for now because I want to make that a whole nother topic, Fetz. But I
then
I will I will say this though as to what you're saying is I like what you had mentioned about 15, 20 minutes ago, where you're talking about like finding plants and specific types of like local um, fauna that would help with like medicines possibly for science. That's cool. That's a neat little
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and this also another interesting portion to it. I mean, when it comes to I don't know if poisons maybe
Hmm.
play a role or whatever, but it could be a mission for an explorer to find a certain species and capture it alive, and then you have to transport alive whatever monster in your spaceship and hope it doesn't break out of a cage or something like that.
Right.
Otherwise, you have the alien on board.
That would be great too, man. And then that brings up another topic we were talking about in our Discord. This is why I love our Discord server, because it's given me so many ideas for topics on videos. And also talking to you guys obviously is great. It's always a trip. Like I'll look in there, you guys are like talking about something, like, man, these are great ideas. Like I'm pretty imaginative. I would like to think so, but like some of the things I've seen in there are ridiculous. Like we were talking about prisons. And like, you know, like kind of like a security prison aspect, which is going to be another episode. So I've got a lot of episodes thanks to our Discord server and everybody involved in our community. What do you think as far as the exploration? You're going to be more of a solo explorer? You're going to be more of somebody who has like a crew eventually riffs? What are you going to be?
I don't like to plan that far ahead.
Riffs, you're funny, dude. You're like, nah, I don't know when I get there, man. That's very cool.
It's more of start solo, see where it goes.
Right.
You know, being larger is, you know, nice because it gives you more options, but at the same time, when you're smaller, you can kind of sneak in better. If it goes the way I would like it to, you're going to see a lot of fights over resources.
Right. You will see a lot of fights over resources.
Jump in there.
That's true.
You want to find your own somewhere where nobody knows, and then keep your lips shut and hoard it all until you can't anymore.
Man, that's gonna be huge. Think about that. You know, you're exploring a planet, you find like a huge like area on a planet that's very rich in resources, and now it's like, what do I do? Like, you know, like you're the first to be on. Maybe you're not the first to find the planet, right? But maybe you're one of the first to go on the planet and find like this huge like resource area, and you're the first to find it. You don't know if you're the first or not, but you find it. And you're like, oh my God, like what do I do with this? Like, do I sell it? Do I like hold on to it?
Related question, sorry. When, for example, there was a question related to jump points. If I have a jump point to a resource-rich area, maybe asteroids or even a planet or whatever, I don't want to sell the information of the jump point. I want to act as a guide. I want to bring the people there and bring them back home. And want to be paid for that, but I don't want to give away the information. Can that be done somehow?
It could probably be done. This is the thing. The more involved you get with the resource, whatever, or the resources or whatever it is that you find, the more money it's going to take, the more expenses it's going to be for you. So for instance, the easiest is like the get in, get out type of explorer. Now this is somebody merely, you know, who wants the profit. So like he finds a spot, he's like, great, don't want to deal with the danger, don't want to deal with anything, did everything I got to do. Here you go. Here's the info. He sells it for like the least amount of like profit you can make on it. Then you've got somebody who finds it that's more like kind of like my mindset, which is like I'm trying to build an empire. Like I always love to build like these large, like very national, like big corporate, you know, organizations with like tons of people. That's what I love to do. So like if I found something like that, I would instantly be like, okay, we found this. We have to take everything out of this resource field. We got to like process it. We got to build from it. We got to secure it. We got to, you know, like that's the type of guy I am. So like I'm investing into it largely, but I'm doing it so that it's like for the benefit of all and so that it continue our growth. Then you'll have like explorers that like probably are more like you fets that like get on the planet and are like more helpful and, you know, like are bringing in people will maybe just like say, come on, let's do this together, work on it together. But what happens when like an outside force finds that? Then you got to fight, you got conflict, you're going to have it, man. Like I'm telling you right now, that's what I loved. I talked about this like about 3 videos ago, I think in a survival confirmed video where I was talking about if you find anything on a planet or anything in space, anywhere, there's always that level of like, you're either going to have to get in and get out and get the information sold, or you're invested in it, maybe hit and run, kind of like hit it, get as much as you can before like the big boys come in, whoever the big boys are. There's a lot of organizations out there that are very large that if they find it, you might as well just like, it's like king of the jungle, you know, like if you're not the king of the jungle, you're gnawing on it like a hyena to get as much meat as you can until like the herd, like the lion, like the pack of lions coming. You're like, all right, I had my fill. Not really. You guys have that zebra. It was great while I licked it, and now you get to eat the entire carcass. You MFers, like you know what I mean? Like you sons of bitches. But like, okay, so really cool riffs. I like that too. Like I like what you're talking about there. I like what you're talking about, Fets. Wiz, what do you?
There's one other thing.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, riffs.
We talked a lot about non-combat exploring stuff, but if you're talking about other simulator games and just other games in general, a lot of it comes down to actual combat stuff. If you're playing something like Armor Project Reality, you might do your entire round as a spotter for artillery or for airstrikes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a completely different kind of gameplay, but it's also going to depend in Star Citizen based on the what kind of air defenses we're going to have. Yes. And those kinds of things.
Because you can also play like a specific role as a person. Sorry, go ahead, Riffs. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a completely different kind of gameplay than looking for particular resources, and might even need a different way of looking for that kind of thing.
You could. You might need certain type of scanners or types of items to find certain types of resources. I'm sure that's how they're going to build it out. But, you know, like in regards to what you were talking about with like your kind of like activity within the game or what role you're going to play within the game, that's kind of another reason why I like Star Citizen, because you're not really stuck specifically on any given role. Like your specialty could be like flying above for air security, or your specialty could be like be on the ground as a combat unit, like a military unit, or you know, there's a lot of different like roles you can do, but like you can always slide in and out because you're a person. Like you don't have to do any of those things. Like you can do something completely unrelated, but what it is that is your passion in the game to do is eventually going to be like your profession, whether you like it or not, and you're going to be known for it. Like for instance, like if Riffs is the type of person who continually finds like very sweet cherry spots, I'm going to notice who Riffs is, and maybe I'll even follow him, or maybe I'll have like an agent tail him. Like I know he's a really good explorer. Great, I'm going to hire somebody to follow Riffs around. Like I would just do that. Like that's the type of guy I am. Like like that's the kind of gameplay I like. If Riffs is finding like really cherry spots and he's not in my organization, I would like those spots. And first I would say, hey Riffs, would you like to join my organization? And then Riffs is like, nah, not really interested. Sorry, Al. And I'll be like, okay, I'm sorry, dude. That's cool. And then like a week later, what I'll do is I'll talk to an agent or somebody. I'll be like, hey, this guy's a really nice guy. Don't kill him. Just follow him. Find the stuff that he's finding and let me know about it. And then eventually Riffs might know. If I'm good, Riffs won't know. but Riffs might find out. So then what is Riffs going to do with that after something like that happens? Insert sinister laugh here.
You guys heard it here first. Al's going to be my first talker.
Yeah, but like that's the cool thing about this game is like you can actually go out and get resources that you normally wouldn't if you just start thinking differently. Like that's one of the reasons that I was very successful in Eve, is I did that thing. I didn't employ like a lot of douchey tactics. I wasn't the type of guy that was like going in there like killing people and taking their stuff. I would more kind of be like that. What do I want to say? You know the dude from I hate this analogy that I'm gonna make. I really do, because I hate his character. But the guy from Game of Thrones, the finger guy. What's the guy's name?
Littlefinger.
I hate that guy, but that's kind of how my gameplay is, you know, like that's kind of how my style game. I'll slide in and out. I'll find a way. It's like very snaky. It's not the best way to play, but it's what I find to be the most fun way for me to play the game, is to kind of like build up like friendships and networks of people. I won't use them to pit against each other though. I haven't employed that lady. What was his Ladyfinger? What is his name? Littlefinger, Ladyfinger. Like Littlefinger, yeah. I haven't employed that tactic ever. I haven't done the old Littlefinger, you know, take your friends and like fight, have them fight against each other. I wouldn't do that type of stuff. That's just evil. But I do like to talk to people and like create like networks of people, so that and exploration's really not generally the best type of style gameplay that I like. So while you guys all like exploration, I like to find new things, but I don't like to find new things. This is going to sound very evil. I don't like to find new things just to find new things. I like to find things to manipulate the areas, to like scour every single drop of resource. I'm very capitalistic. When I play a game, I'm a very capitalistic kind of ruthless type of guy. Like, okay, great, we found a place. Now let's send everybody over there we can and just extract everything we can out of it and make our corporation or organization that much bigger. Let's find a way to do it friendly first. And then if we can't find a way to do it friendly first, you know, then so as far as exploration is concerned, on my part, I only like exploration because it finds me new resources, which is really cold, but it's the truth, man. So
which is totally fine, because you're the guy who's gonna hire us.
Right, exactly, Fetz. And that's why I love it, you know, because there's so many different types of like mindsets when it comes. And in real life, I'm not really that way. In real life, I like to go find new places. If you watch like a vlog, I literally just got lost in the woods and I loved it. Like in real life, I'm kind of like when an explorer, I just like walk around like, hey, cool, new place, man. I love to get lost here. You know, I'm not thinking about, oh, look at all this lumber. Look at you know what I mean? Like there could be gold in here. You know, I'm not even worried about that. I'm just having a good time. But for some reason, when I get into a game mode, that's how I start to think. And I think it's just through the years of playing like types of like games like Warcraft, like the original, where you got those little orcs and they're like zug zug. You know, they like you fucking take them to like chop down trees and like mine gold and shit, and you start seeing all the resources piling up. I blame that. I blame old Warcraft for the reason why I am the way that I am when I play games. So, all right.
I think we just had a breakthrough there, guys.
What's up?
I think we just had a breakthrough.
Yeah, I'm realizing this. It's like I'm sitting down in front of a psychologist.
The analogies today.
Right. I'm sitting down on a couch, like laying back, like I'm having a breakthrough moment right now with my gaming style. Back in the days when I sat in my underoos. So I think we had a great talk today. I'm going to go down the list here. We'll talk with Fets first, and anything that you would like to add as far as exploration. We're going to wrap it up here. We've been going about an hour. Again, let me just state that I really appreciate you guys showed up here. It's great. You guys are a great community. And let's wrap things up here. Anything that you would like to add, Fets, on the exploration talk, go ahead and state it now.
Well, I think we could go for a while.
We really could.
But I think the most necessary bits were mentioned.
Mm-hmm. I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, some of the mechanics we could go over if we wanted to. You know, I have it, like I said, I did or will link. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, there will be a card for the exploration video if you need more technical. So that'll be helpful for those that want more like mechanics and gameplay type material. All right. So Riffs, anything to add, buddy?
Well, I think one of the big things for me, and I think I kind of touched on it earlier, was that kind of, short-term exploration and long-term exploration. What's going to happen? How is everything going to change when people have had the chance to, discover every planet?
That's good.
On each planet, there's a lot to look for. There might be caves, there might be resources, there might be a new wreck that spawns over there, or a new resource that spawns over there. And just seeing how that exploration might change over time is going to be interesting. It'd be even like maybe, really kind of out there, you're going to have new jump points that only exist for a little bit of time, like a wormhole that's just here for a week and then it's gone. You got to map again.
So how can you sell that information if that would have to be a very important wormhole or jump point to sell if it only lasted, say, like a week or two? Because, like, literally, I don't think those are going to be worth a lot. I think the ones that are going to be worth a lot are going to be the larger ones, even if they were only had like a week or two of duration. But another thing interesting that Rifts brings up is like what we started off the conversation with is, do you think there's going to be enough spawn points to keep exploration interesting? And my answer, my opinion is yes. I think that they know that the player base that they have, being 70% that want exploration or thereabouts, they're going to put enough spawn points in the game within the 100 systems. I also think they'll bring out more DLC in regards to like adding on to the current universe. Like, for instance, we had talked about in the Discord chat earlier, I don't know if you guys were in there, but we were talking about this very thing, exploration, about 2 weeks ago, and this is why we're having this video, is we were talking about as the DLC comes out, there will be patches that probably will bring out whole new systems, especially in regards to, like we talked about alien races in my lore video, the Kurthak, which is like, if you look at the map on the 2D scale, it's east of the Xi'an Empire. So like everything east is very relatively unknown. The Xi'an and the Kurthak have been fighting each other for hundreds of years. It's a war we don't know much about as humans, since we were in a war with them and now have like a peace treaty with them that's kind of very rough. It's like a Russian-USA deal. But we don't know what's on the other side. And so I think that like if things do get overly explored, I think one of the answers that SIG will have is like, oh, look, the Kurthak have opened up, and they'll insert that kind of like news, and then we'll be able to slowly go over to that type of territory. And I think they'll be able to open up a lot of those systems, a lot of the Vandal space that we don't know about that's to the west of the two-dimensional map, which I consider like a Mordor type area. Like if we were like have some type of an analogy, you know, so there's going to be a lot of that kind of content, I think, added to it, which is good. So I don't really think that exploration will ever be dull. I always think there will be new things. And even if we were to like find all of the hidden moons or the hidden planets that they would insert into it, I still think that the spawns, as far as like what you're going to find on planets, the spawns as far as what you're going to find in space, like ore fields, stuff of that nature, derelict ships that you can salvage, some of the items, they even said that that wasn't possible to buy a Bengal carrier, and but you could actually possibly salvage it or take the whole damn thing if you were to repair it, which I thought was like an interesting comment from
that's
Sig,
really cool.
right? And it's like, damn, like you're the special person that was the explorer that found a Bengal carrier. Trust me, you're going to be in the news. And that's something I touched on briefly today, where on the channel was like with the video I had out today about the news and like the birth of like the news within Star Citizen. You guys can check that out. But all right, good. And the economy also riffs. I'm sorry, but these are all the thoughts I'm having as we're going here, because like that was a good point what you brought up. I think it's worth talking about. The other thing is the economy. I'm worried about the economy because, for instance, if you have a lot of these spawn points, how is it really going to affect the economy? If we do want like more of a human run economy in this community, for the most part, I would say about 80% of us in the games community want a kind of more human run element to the market. And we have talked till we're blue in the face about the 90-10 and how it might affect the economy. Is it going to be more AI driven? We think that it is. But if we do want more of a human trade-based, human-to-human kind of market that's like true demand, then what we have to say is are we worried about all the spawn points insofar as the resources that will develop from these spawn points, and then kind of like thrust the supply-demand out of whack? Because, you know, for instance, if there's spawn points that are bringing up like 50 of this item or 50 of that item or 50, you know, or 100 or whatever the amount is, and it's bringing that into the market that was kind of just like magically poofed there, you know, is that going to be something that we have to worry about? So that's another angle. Again, we don't know till it's like a try and see thing. So that's another angle. What, you know, okay. So, and then wrapping up, Wiz, is there anything else on exploration that you would like to mention?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is, you know, being able to, I think what Chris Robinson was saying before, that you'll be able to explore different systems. And let's just say, you know, like you mentioned, you'll be able to capitalize on certain, like maybe trade runs or trade runs and things like that. You know, you got people, you know, going back and forth, and let's just say the trade run stops because there's people going in and attacking the trade runs. So you'd be able to go in there and help or take the mission to go in there and do that. So I'd like to, you know, explore that type of missions, or just going throughout the systems and doing that. So that kind of really interests me.
So you're talking about like exploration through mission, through accepting like missions, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you'll be able to go through different systems, and like let's just say you're searching for trade runs, but you're exploring at the same time, and you get this mission saying, hey, you know, we need help over here because these, you know, people are attacking our trade routes.
Okay.
And so you can go over there and, you know, and help out. So
That's cool. I got you. So like while you're actually missioning for NPC and doing that grinding to get those creds through the NPC kind of exploration missions, also at the same time doing your own exploration just for exploration's sake and kind of seeing what there is out there, maybe spawning other opportunities that are either AI driven or human driven, you know. So yeah, that's I think what you're going to find any explorer doing is they're going around the verse is just kind of like trying to get as much opportunities as they can. Information, again, and everything comes down to, hey, thanks for following. Who's that? Got the Carlton dance going. Oh yeah. Hey, thanks for following AES. Appreciate that, man. What's up, Alf? What's up? So I'm sorry about the Twitch chat. We've kind of been neglecting everybody to hit Twitch chat because we are on Discord right now. But thanks everybody for joining us here tonight. I think we had a very fun talk. I really appreciate especially Fetz being here because I know he has been dying to get on this exploration talk. We will have you on much more, Fetz, and you as well, Riffs, and Wizard, you as well. I had a great time with you guys. Thank you guys today for showing up. Super appreciated. And please join us again. Streams every Tuesday and Thursday, sometimes other days. This weekend I will be very busy. So next week you will see this video land. Probably on Tuesday you'll see the exploration video for community here. And again, I would like to thank those involved for showing up. It's been a wonderful stream. If you missed it, catch the replay on Twitch. And please share this as much as you can. Help us grow. And if you help us grow, we'll help you grow, especially you, Wiz. I know you're a content creator as well. The bigger we get, the more we can help everybody. And that's what we're about here. Good talks, good times, lots of friends, and fun. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching the stream. Peace out.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, guys.